That would. I don't know, that would, if nothing else, for bicycles, hiking.
Stupid
The
bubbles.
horses. That was
What's
the
that?
original agreement.
Oh,
They
it's
always
giving
talked
us
back in the
bubbles.
90s,
First
that's what it wasn't in the
computer
union, but. That's where I'd like to see it go at least.
Well, I'm gonna be campaigning,
But
if I get my vehicle. But it's. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the roll call show that everyone is present and we do have a quorum. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
move, we approved the agenda.
It's, I got. Excuse me. You know, we do have a late application for a business license. Forgot to bring that up.
Move that we approved the agenda with the addition of. Cook, adding Casey Cook's. Business,
It's Sterling Enterprises LLC. Is that
yeah,
business?
Sterling Enterprises LLC.
Oh, okay.
Adding their permit to 12E, I guess, would that be? Permit, yeah, 12E. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I move we approve the agenda with adding Sterling Enterprises LLC to 12E.
I'll second it.
It's been. Motion, it's been moved and seconded that we, consent agenda be approved as amended, adding. The item 12 permits. E Sterling Enterprises application for a business permit. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye, pose the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. Communication from citizens. Have any communication from citizens? Yes,
Okay. So,
please come up and introduce yourself.
I'm Stacy Margaret and I came home almost 2 years ago. I'm just gonna read this. And then because I've got kind of a lot of people to think, so. I said, "Hi, Mr. Mayor. I came here tonight for a couple of reasons. I wrote down everything I wanted to say in case. And please forgive me if I get a bit emotional. Coming back home this time was kind of hard. First of all, on my grandma's property, on behalf of myself and my family, I apologize for the godforsaken mess that was down there. Over the last year and a half, I have been home. I have literally worked what's left of my ass off down there, and with a lot of help, I have gotten it cleaned up. Also, to whomever the code enforcement person or whatever, thank you for being patient while I got that menagerie cleaned up and not giving me tickets. I've dealt with code enforcement before. They're not usually so nice. I know I still have a few outstanding things left to pay, and I will get them done. Since I've been back, it's just been seriously one problem at a time. I also wanted to say thank you to Kathy Soul and the entire gangs here at City Hall and at the fast lane for all the help. When they jumped in and gave me help, both when I first came home and then again after my splenectomy happened. We really do have a great little community here. And I just want to say that I love the park down there. I wish my grandma could have been here to see it. And the other thing I would like to say something about is in regards to our police department. And I'm going to start out by saying that I'm not big on the system. I have a fear, not a dislike of law enforcement and our previous law enforcement. Hell no, I was not a fan at all. When I came home, the new cop cars were the first thing I noticed. And one of the first things I inquired about as soon as I got to Janet's, and I have to say, I was happy to hear we had a completely new law enforcement. There is a lot of negativity towards them around town, though. Mr. Mayor, I think the people in this town need to hear this. Our PD is actually amazing. I know, once again, I'm as shocked as everyone else in the room that the words roll out of my mouth. But once again, they are true words. The Shoshoni PD, not the FCSO, have showed up twice when my life depended on it. Well, both times it was Officer Badura who was on duty, and he saved my life, followed by Chris, who did in fact do his job. I've seen a lot of bitching on County 10 as well, when Shoshoni bought a canine or brought in a canine, which I'm especially fearful of because the guy has a really mean dog. But here's the thing I say to this town and to our police department, our chief of police, our school resource officer, and the canine. 100 miles southeast of here, the Natrona County Probation Office Agency and the Casper Police Departments can't stay out of the news for everything from stealing pain pills and puppies to having sex with their clients and starting shit outside the Wonder Bar because they're drunk and stupid. 21 miles to the southwest of us, we have dispatch that does not listen to your request and send cops to respond who really don't give a damn and actually don't do their jobs. I know this because I read it on County 10, but I've actually dealt with them in my life. We have our PD here who, one, they do care, they do show up and they do their jobs, and 3, they go above and beyond the duty, because 2 of them gave me their personal police or their personal cell phone numbers, which no cop has ever done before. And on our SRO and our K9, I'm just going to end this with a little story. One day last winter, I was hurting like I always do. And I was at dinner where there was a Fremont County, Wyoming high school student. I'd made the remark, I wish they do pain contracts per case instead of one plan fits all. The high school kid, without missing a beat, said, oh, if you can't get pain meds from your doctor, just go to the high school and find the kids with the cigarette vapes. They have fentanyl in them. The end. I know, right straight out of the mouth of a baby who knows not what opioids will do to you. And as I said earlier, I'm not big on public school since Columbine, or I don't know if I said that because I've written this like 100 times. But anyways, now our kids just are sitting ducks when they go there. And because school shootings have become a trend, so has opioid abuse. So our SRO, he's amazing too, because I drop my godchildren off every morning. And every morning, even though he doesn't hear me, I tell him, by God, you better keep him safe. And all of the kids at our school love him. So again, we have one who does his job. And I can tell you this from personal experience as well, because I went without car seats once. And he will make sure that you're doing like good by those kids down there. He's an absolutely wonderful person to have down there. We do need them all, and we need them. And I beg them to keep our kids safe from the almighty opioids as well. They're killing your kids. So Shoshoni, I say to you, our PD may not be perfect, but look at Casper and at Riverton. We really do have good police here. And that is the end. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, Stacy. Really
You're welcome.
appreciate your comments. Really do, and tell us they're heartfelt and true.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always good to hear something positive. Someone that appreciates what we actually do have here in Shoshone. I think all of us here know the professionalism and stuff we have in our police department.
I think our police force is also very well equipped and hopefully well paid, so they won't leave. And if that changes, we need to change to keep them.
Here Riverton's hiring.
Yeah, we don't want that.
It's I think to have more, I think Ripton possibly could even have more issues in pay, but pay was one of their. But it's the work environment that our chief has created here helps us. Yes, providing proper equipment. We're leading the county and sometimes the state on some of the innovations that we are started here in Shoshone. Like the computers in the cars, what do you call that?
Oh, the MDTs.
MBT, yeah. Yeah, we had Homeland Security, was amazed we had that. Amazed, we sit down, you got that? In Shoshone, yes, we do, but it was through our chief's leadership is why we have it, could see that. Now some of the other. Law enforcement agencies within our county are looking at that also. But it's, you gotta have good equipment, and we're trying to provide good equipment. You know, a good work environment, and that helps attract. Good people, you gotta pay them also.
Yeah.
You gotta pay a livable wage also, but, PD's done well.
Can't do without the support of the people in the council, so. Takes us all.
Anyway. Do we have any other comments from the audience?
Yeah. I got a nasty gram today
Okay,
from the
please,
city of Shoshone.
please come up and introduce yourself.
My name is Cecil Gentry. A couple of you already know me. I've lived in Shoshone for 6 or 7 years now. So I get this, I've been basically 3/4 disabled between operations in the last couple of years. And it's really hard to make ends meet and perform like I have in the past when you are down and out, having performed operations or are disabled. But I spent the last year, last fall and this fall, with a lot of my time, disabled time, where I shouldn't have been doing the things I was doing, and this year too, taking care of weeds, because undeniably, this has been the wettest year on record in Shoshone, bar none ×2. I find it very offensive when I get a letter saying you need to take care of your stuff, when I've spent as a full-time job this past year, taking care of, trying to keep down on these weeds. I don't mind the fact that you want to take care of the weeds, but my problem is if you're going to send out these nasty grams to people to take care of their weeds, you probably make sure that I haven't been taking care of them, because I want to see some pictures of what it is I was in violation of. You say in this letter that I was supposed to have had included in this, the updated version of it. It didn't come in my letter. I didn't get it until this morning, first off. I spent innumerous hours this year, hardworking hours that I shouldn't have been putting in, either working on the weeds or trying to get some kind of equipment to catch up on the weeds, because I'm not sure you're familiar, but you can't poison the weeds around here if it's rain within a day or so. If you can get the weeds poisoned and give it a good hot day, that's one thing. But my problem is the city of Shoshone is the biggest violator of this in this town. And you're writing letters to people that shouldn't have been written in the first place. And I've got pictures from a week ago that I sent to my sister because I was so damn proud of how much I'd done and how much I got done. And I get a nasty gram from you guys saying, I'm not doing anything.
Later, we had town employees inspect property all over town. And at the time, when they inspected it, it did not meet code. They wrote it down and we sent letters out. We also, if you're handicapped and cannot, and we've mentioned that in the past, if you have issues with that you're unable, physically unable to do that, you can reach out for the city for assistance.
You guys didn't get after it until the 28th of August this year.
No, we've been getting after it all. We've been getting after it. We've just like you, we've had rain and we've been getting after it all year. If you
I was
have-
having to go
if
down on the
you-
rails
if
to
you-
trails and take care of a problem that the city should have been doing all along.
If you have issues that you're having trouble doing your property, you can reach out to the city for assistance. I seen a 77-year-old man here a couple days ago out pushing his mower walk and mowing his weeds. He got a letter too.
I
I
have
have to
seen,
say that I have to stick up for him.
I have
live
seen
by-
that.
I
man
live
cleaning his
by him.
weeds. I have.
Okay.
And he has cleaned in the bike path and he used to do around my property even,
Sure.
if I got behind.
But if you have trouble doing it, like I said, you can ask the city for assistance. And we will help. If there are issues, all I can do is.
It's not that I can't do it. It's that I spent 100% of my time doing it. It's probably good for me to get back, but when I get a nasty gram and I look around and I take pictures all over this town of infestations of Russian knapweed, it really angers me.
All I can say is
Do you have pictures of this? I want to see pictures.
when our employees went and inspected property, your property did not fit the guidelines.
Okay, show me pictures. That's a really easy thing to do.
So I think in lieu of this, maybe this will help clarify things. So I had someone call me just before the meeting started, asking for clarity on same thing. They'd received a nasty gram, and they said, we do all this stuff. We take care of our property, but they didn't understand that the property was
Right away.
Well, that better not be the case in mine, because I've taken care of the rails, the trails. I've taken care of all the way out to there. I'm helping the neighbors do it.
Well,
I'm helping the town because you don't do
appreciate that.
anything for the goat head population.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
What have you done for it?
We work on town property all the time.
we had fertilizer, so they grow really well.
So we work on town property.
I have to be honest and tell you, the goat heads didn't grow really well until the middle of July this year because it was too wet. But then,
You notice, we are town employees that spent a lot of time out there doing weeds. We do, we got a lot of property, but we spent a lot of man hours doing weeds.
okay, so you're going to send somebody to my house if I'm not taking this up. Are you going to send somebody without proof? It's going to be off. One of your employees said that, oh, that property is no good, so you're going to do this?
I'll get your address and I'll go inspect it myself. That's what I'll do.
Great.
I believe, I like your point of saying, where's the proof?
Exactly.
I think that's a valid point, saying,
Well, I got some pictures right now. I sent them to my sisters because she couldn't believe I'd accomplished that much.
so. The picture that the town should take should be dated. And they, at this time. And so.
And that gives you a specific, not a vague, well, there could be these weeds in here that we mentioned in another spot that we don't provide.
Okay, well, let me finish, picture with the date on it. And then you can say, hey. You come in with the camera off your phone, say, this is the same place where you took the picture. This is how it looks now. You can throw that away. Would that work?
Are
Well,
we going to be having people in town, the whole we versus them, people going around taking pictures of everybody's yard because they don't like that person?
Well, we've taken pictures of the weeds. Therefore, that's, as you said,
Well,
documentation.
I can't be sure this is weeds, first off.
Well, that's why I'm saying, I agree with your concept of saying, where's the proof? And that's something the town council needs to discuss and say, how can we improve our services? And that would be one way. I appreciate your comment.
Okay, are you going to do something about the town's rest of it? Because I happen to be downwind of the biggest weed factory in Fremont County, as far as I know, and most of that is the city. The extension of that rail yard, you guys didn't jump on the rail people until late July. I mean,
I'm not aware of that.
it's really hard for me to take care of anything when I have a seed factory right across the street, the 90-mile-an-hour wind and the worst.
we had people that ignored our first warning. And so.
Huh?
And then so.
And I had my weeds down for most of the year.
Is citations. Our city attorney will be addressing this.
Okay.
That I will tell you. If we go to your yard, and obviously if it's in compliance now, then that's not an issue.
So what is compliance? You're so vague. It's, well, if we want to screw with you, we're going to screw with you. This is entirely vague.
That states our city ordinance, doesn't it?
Yeah, it says at the bottom here, please take whatever steps are necessary to bite this nuisance within 14 days receipt of this letter. Of course, you're dated 8/21, but I didn't get it until this morning. So if you fail to remedy the situation in the time allotted, the town shall proceed to do so on its own. The town acts to abate the nuisance, you'll be responsible. Above, it talks about all invasive and noxious weeds growing within the limits of the town of Shoshoni are hereby declared to be a public nuisance. And this should be the duty of every person owning, occupying, or in charge of his premises, lot or parcel of land in the town of Shoshone, to keep that premises, parcel or lot, including adjacent rights of ways, sidewalk, alleys, and streets, free from all weeds, by cutting or destroying them at all times during the growing season. Properties adjacent to a highway are responsible for the center of the street, center of the alley adjacent to their property.
Does it say the height in there?
It says, I'm trying to find it where it states that you can,
States not.
a copy of the town's nuisance ordinance is included for your review, but it was not.
Doesn't say how you got rid of it.
I mean, as far as I can see some vagueness from the premise of, there's my noxious weed, I dumped gasoline on it, didn't die, or I cut it down to the size of my knee, or it was too thick to pull out of the ground, which then you'd come to saying, does the town pull out every weed by hand as well?
Okay, those are questions I can't answer.
Yeah, I think the overall thing, as far as the council is concerned, we have very little involvement in.
Well, the intention of this is not to single anybody out. It's not to make anybody that does generally keep it and they get a letter to feel like that they aren't doing a good enough job. That was never the intention of it. The intention of it was to keep people apprised and remind to stay on top of it as they do the best. And I understand that. I mean,
And it's been a full-time job for me, and I was getting behind. I had help. Three people helping me.
We actually had to hire one employee in May to do nothing but weeds because of the amount of snowfall, rainfall, and so it's understandable. Not once has the police department gone to anybody and give a follow-up to that, because taking into consideration, as you stated, the amount of rainfall and the amount of growth and overgrowth and how hard it is to keep on top of it, these are just trying to keep people on top of it as best they can. So it's not meant to single anybody out. It's definitely not meant to make you feel like you're not doing a good enough job when clearly you usually do at the best you possibly can do. And sometimes over and beyond what you can. So that's not, I understand where you're coming from, but that was not the intent of it. It was just to try, because there are some that don't. And like you said, singling them out. So it's more of just trying to keep people apprised of it and keep to do the best we can as a community to try and make things better. And not single anybody out, much
Well,
less attack or
I also feel the city could have done a lot better job, especially with the old weed pile or burn rack. I mean, all of a sudden it's just not there, and
well,
do
that
what you're gonna do.
that was DEQ, said we could no longer do that. So that wasn't something the city decided. That was something that a complaint went into DEQ and DEQ said no more.
And if you have a suggestion on how to get that back, we're listening.
Yeah.
Because we need one.
We had.
Well, first off, you go down and put a pit in. Superior, Wyoming has a burn pit. They can burn wood, they can burn leaves, and it's an actual pit. It isn't a fire hazard. They've never had it jump away from
That's
them,
not
get a
why
problem.
It was
DEQ,
smoke.
It was the smoke.
Right,
in
you
town.
put it that into town, not that into town. I had more problems at that time with people bringing their stuff there and it winding up on my property looking like my weeds than I had weeds myself.
I 100% feel your frustration and but it's not intended to be negative. It's,
And
so I'm sorry if it was taken that way, but that was never the intention.
I have noticed a bunch more weeds have gotten cut since the letters came out.
That's what I attempted to show you right there. I bought that property from Catherine Cooper. You're the most anal person I've ever met about her weeds and 80 years old, outwork everyone in this table times 2 under the table, just keeping care of that place. She would roll over and slap me up beside the head if she realized I was getting a nuisance order for weeds. She would come from Riverton and kick my ass. That more than anything totally destroys it. I couldn't imagine anybody working any harder at it than I have and still having the problem.
You
I would-
always have worked hard.
Well, it's not that. It's this year. I couldn't work hard at it because I couldn't poison them. It wouldn't, if you put that poison on, it seems like,
Wash away.
well, it walks away. It actually works as a fertilizer. I really truly believe it does. If it rains, well, you got that poison on there. And I've worked, I've had problems with one 4-wheeler trying to get it so I could handle it and build a drag. I finally got the drag finished and I need more to do on the drag, but I still don't have it 100%. But I cannot imagine even 2 weeks ago, anybody looking at it and saying, this was a nuisance, this was a hazard to anybody. There's one thing to have a green weed growing somewhere as having a dry weed and having a fire hazard. And I agree with that, but here, it doesn't matter what we do, you're gonna get tumbleweeds in this town because we're downstream. Sorry, that's gonna happen. End of story. I'll do my part to make sure they're not, but I don't like to be attacked from both ends when I've done everything I can short of, well, I can't hire anybody. It's not to the point where I should have to have somebody else doing it for me either.
Thank you for your comments.
It takes a lot of dehumanizing effort to tell somebody, hey, we're going to bring somebody in and help you take care of that.
There again, thanks for the comment. Do we have any other?
Yeah, please. I'm Jeff from CBX. I think we've already filed for a permit with you guys for roofing. I just wanted to come meet everybody. Right now, I'm at about 141 roofs that we're putting in Riverton for all the hail damage. I'm also doing another 40 in Lander as of Sunday with the hail damage that just hit there. So I've got a couple that I've got lined up here in the area, and I'm just coming to introduce myself.
Very, very good. You do all types of roofing?
Yeah, so we do metal, tile, asphalt, shingle. Pretty much you name it, we do it.
Are you out of Idaho?
So we're out of three, so we're in 9 different states in the Pacific Northwest. Anytime we get over 100 homes, we actually open an office. So we're opening an office in Riverton right now with staff. We have 15 crews. Currently, we have 3 running in Riverton right now, full time. Like I said, with 141 roofs to get done. And
Are these those 130-mile-an-hour shingles?
yeah, so it's both of these are 130-mile-an-hour shingles. We work a lot. We work with the insurance companies very well. We do all the supplementing for the homeowner. So if indeed they do have any kind of damage and they need to get their roofs done, the only thing out of pocket for them is their deductible by law. Everything else comes from the insurance company. And like I said, we have people in-house that'll call and make sure that it all gets taken care of before we even get started. John's one of the guys that we're doing his roof.
Before or after he installed?
Oh, easy. Why you gotta be like that? We're gonna be here a long time. Yeah, I was trying to get the railroad, but I think you said Sterling got their thing approved. I know I was in competition with him to go back and forth. Way to go. Giving it to Sterling. I see how you are. Yeah. I'm just kidding you. Any questions for me?
If you have any business cards, you can leave them up there for
You
when it
bet.
comes in, we can put it on the wall so they have your. contact.
Absolutely. I just happened to bring a stack with me.
Coincidentally, I've got-
Just happens to be in my back pocket. Yeah, I guess all of our insurance stuff and everything will go to you and you'll be able to take a look at that. Is that right? I don't know who it
I
goes
think it
to.
goes to Kathy
Okay,
So,
in the office.
all the insurance information and everything and our ID number for Wyoming and all that. I just don't know who is.
Kim,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, go to our town clerk.
okay.
And she's.
She's right there.
She's right there.
I see her.
She's under the table.
Yeah.
She is kind of short.
I got the comfy chair this week.
Well, all right, we good?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys. You can do it now. Now I can do it. Take care of you.
Any more comments from citizens?
I got.
I'm Rick Catlin. I live at 313 Second Street. I had a less than favorable response from the city. Had a faucet or had a hydrant put in. They came over. I had a big water bill. Joe and I talked about it. 40,000 gallons. Couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Wasn't normally when I get a leak from the hydrant, it'll come in my main line. I know it. And as I told him, I couldn't find it. My wife found it a couple days earlier or later. So I called the contractor to come put a hydrant in. So he set up the bill, or he set up to come in and do the work on a Monday. And I was notified from the city employee that it would be the next month before they could get in to do it because they had to wait to dig, had to call 811. They should have had it done on Friday. They were called off. As a result of them being called off and not doing the work, my guys show up first thing Monday and they got to wait to dig up the curb stop to be installed, which should have been installed several years ago. It's been on the board there for many years. So after they wait for, it cost me $150 an hour waiting for the city to do their work. So I come down here wanting to know why. So send me somebody by the name of Mike down there who I'd never met before, I guess runs the city water department now. And he lied to me. Your employees told me that they were called off Friday when it was scheduled to be done. He tells me he can't do it because he has to wait 48 hours before he's allowed to dig, so he couldn't dig on Friday. So I call 811. That contract, he was legal to dig at 8:35 on the 16th Wednesday. He flat out lied to me to my face. That's not acceptable. Then he's supposed to leave the key there. So when my guys come back, they can turn the water off and install the faucet. You don't leave it. The people who are digging the hole call the city, tell them we need the key. An hour later, it's still not there. It's 3 blocks. So I call the city. I was on my way to the bank anyhow. I call her. She says, you want Bart's number or whatever his name is? I forgot. Is that his name?
We have Bart. and
Bart.
Mike.
Bart and Mike. So Bart, I get down here. I call the city. She says, do you want to talk to Bart? And I said, sure. She says, I'll give you his number. I'm coming down the road. So I'm coming down. I go to call him. I thought he's not going to recognize my number because it's an out of state. I pull around the corner here, pull in. He's walking out of this building. He was standing in here when she was talking to me. Why couldn't she hand the phone to him? So they don't bring the key to me. They take it to the guys across the street. So that cost me another hour. What I want to know is why. Why was it not done on the Friday when it was scheduled to be done? They were called off. He said it was going to be too wet. That's ridiculous. They hauled asphalt through this town all day. You don't haul asphalt paving with rain. He could have used the hydrovac to put it in. That's what they bought it for. So it was mishandled 100%, but the fact that he lied to me and he's mumbling, and there's something I'd like to talk to you later about it too. His breath smelled of Listerine so heavy, it was foot, I could smell it a block away. He's mumbling, he can't walk right. Has he drank? That was my first thought. And if he is, what's he doing in a damn city vehicle? I just had to let a guy go from my work because he showed up drinking. The reason I mentioned the Listerine, because that's what he was doing. It covers up their breath so they can't smell the alcohol. When I tried to get close to him to see if I could smell, he turned around and walked off. Then I come down here to talk to you, called to speak to you. You didn't return my phone call. I don't know if Kathy didn't give it to you or you just forgot or just avoided me. I don't know.
When
You're
was
not,
this?
you're not
I
the type
don't-
of person who usually avoids me.
No, I don't avoid anybody.
Yeah. But you remember when I was in your office and you asked me if I was recording you because my phone was blowing up?
You bet.
That's because my work was calling me. I had a drunk guy there.
Okay.
That's what that was about. That's what triggered the whole thing with the,
So
mouthwash
when did you try to call him?
that
When did
day,
you call? What day?
Monday, the day they put that in.
This Monday?
No, it was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago on Monday, after the 16th. So it had been the Monday following the 16th. So
If you look at my calendar. see if I-
19, 20, 21st, probably the 21st,
I don't
22nd. I
think
think
I
it's
was
the
even in
22nd.
I'd have to check my calendar, see if I was even in town.
Well, she said she'd give you the message.
But
it just-
obviously I didn't get it right.
The whole thing was the estimate was for $900. My bill, because they had to wait 4 hours at $150 an hour, was $1,554. I negotiated it down to $1,250, but I shouldn't have had to gone through that. If you guys didn't get it done on Friday, you should have called and said, hey, listen, we're not going to be ready on Monday. Call your people. You didn't do that either, not even the courtesy of a phone call.
I can look into it.
Well, it just irritates me. Men stand right there and lie to me. Straight to my face. That he couldn't dig until after Friday. That was a damn lie. And when the got your two hands that were there, they turned their head away. Because they'd already told me they were scheduled to do it. And I hope nobody retaliates against them for telling me the truth. I would find that very unacceptable. So I don't know where to go with it. I try to be as good neighborly as I can, try to support you guys as much as I can. But that's not acceptable. Do I expect you to pay the difference in the bill? No, because I don't think you'll do that. But-
Like I said, I'll investigate.
It just irritates me to no end when somebody straight out lies to my face because they were negligent, lazy, whatever the reason, but they didn't get it done. And I know they were out there and had it marked Tuesday when I come home. So I knew Thursday's the latest it could be in the 48 hours. So I don't know what to do with it. I'll pay the damn thing.
Like I
but it
said,
irks me.
I'll investigate it. I've had quite a bit of interaction with Mike. I've never seen any indication at all that he ever drinks.
I don't know that he was, but the
Okay,
reason it
just
comes up to me is because he mumbled when he was talking to me.
No, he always,
He,
that's how he talks.
well, I don't know. Well, put it in my view, I just let a gentleman leave. Fired him because he come to work drunk and he was covering it up, drinking Listerine that you could smell halfway. And this is what I run into with him. I can smell the Listerine half a block away. What am I supposed to think?
I do it every morning and.
What would you do?
and at lunch.
Yeah, well,
Lay down.
ask him.
You drink Listerine?
Well, I don't drink that.
Okay.
Rinse my
No, what
mouth.
I'm saying is ask Chris what he stops the guy in the car and he can smell Listerine coming out of the car. Is he gonna look at him? If he mumbles at you, won't look you in the eye?
I mean.
I don't even need to answer, Chris.
No,
I
I just
know
think
too many
We
officers.
should probably talk about it in a different setting.
Yes, I was be more than willing, but it just so irritates me about the whole thing.
Have you filled out a complaint?
No,
Really should fill out a complaint.
what's the complaint gonna do?
It gives us official notice and we address our complaints in Shoshoni.
Well, I don't have any, so,
We have complaint forms.
yeah.
You can do it online too.
If I usually have an issue with anybody, I just come see you,
A written complaint when there's an issue is pretty important.
Well, I'm very reluctant to say anything tonight because I don't know. As far as this Mike guy is concerned.
But you
No,
did.
but you do have a legitimate complaint.
Yeah.
Your point of view too, and it needs to be investigated, and if you could just turn in a written complaint, that would. It's the procedure of things. I
Okay.
wish you would, because it sounds like there may be an issue, and
Well,
it needs
it-
to be looked at anyways.
You know, the thing that irritates me mostly is you lie to me.
I'm with you.
That bothers me more than anything else. If he'd have said, hey, Rick, I screwed up Friday, I told him not to do it and I screwed up. I got nowhere to go with that. It wouldn't be the first time. Hell, I've screwed up before, you know, and own it. But the fact not to own it and lie about it and then waddle off.
Well, let's get the, I'll talk to you later and get the
Okay.
complaint and we can look into it. I mean, there's two sides to every story. You gotta investigate it. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that
Well,
I
talk to
can't
your,
hash it out right here. 'cause I don't
talk
have
to
any
your
information.
guys, you know, they knew they were supposed to do it on Friday. They were willing to do it on Friday and he called them off, said it was going to be too wet. That's what they told me. You know, Bart's pretty honest about the whole thing. And then he shows up 10 minutes later and gives me this song and dance. That he couldn't, you know, he couldn't,
He got over 30 years of experience. And.
well, then he should know he could have been able to dig that day with nothing
Well,
that sandy soil. I've been doing this stuff. I mean, I spent a lot of years putting in water and sewer lines. Put some of that in this town.
Well, Rick, I'll get with you after the
Yeah.
meeting and I'll get you a form
Sure.
to write down and I'll get it to Joel
Okay.
and you'll get a response back.
Oh,
Okay.
one thing other on your weeds. Have you updated your description of weeds, noxious weeds? I'm just point
It's
of
a-
reference.
It's on our town website now. All
No,
our
what I'm saying is,
websites.
have you updated it?
Yes,
Okay, because there was a time when Rick was mayor. When he pushed these letters out 10, I don't know, Robert, you might have been here then. And I had talked just to mess with him. I had talked to a biologist over there. Said those were songbird habitat, that they hadn't have a description of what a weed was. We had refuge and we had trash, and didn't have a definition of weed. I was just messing with Rick on that.
If I remember right, we went with the definition of the county's weed and pest definition of a weed.
Mhm.
that's correct.
which-
It's what you're using?
Yes,
Okay, I was just being curious because
because I know
gentleman
one time it
said-
said over 6 or 12 inches high, which would eliminate all goat heads. So,
I get some thorns at about 12 inches high when I step on them.
yeah, so what, if I remember right, we went to the definition of.
So
weed pest.
they did get a definition of it. Yeah, I was just messing with Rick when he did it. So.
Thank you.
Well, you know, you gotta have definitions of stuff if you're gonna, you can't be ambiguous about it. So, but anyhow, I thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get with you afterwards, Chris.
Okay.
Any more comments from communications from citizens? Jim?
I can take on my matter now if you like. I think as all of you know, I'm Jim Gores with James Gores and Associates, and working with you folks on providing engineering services for your water master plan. And this tomorrow, actually, we're going to be working with well number 6 out here at the base of Tank Hill. The John Wetstein, who's hydrogeologist, will be here to work with us. I think, as all of you know, the pump and the column pipe were pulled out sometime last week. So we got a clean borehole to work with. And so tomorrow at about noon, we'll run a camera down that well and look at each one of the well screens down there. And there's several of them, and try and find out, if we can, which one or which ones of those well screens might be bubbling gas, which we suspect might be part of the problem as to why you have the line between well 6 and up the tank rupturing numerous times over the past years, and blowing up the pipe and essentially draining the tank. So anyway, tomorrow we're gonna get down to business, or at least take it one step further, is to what may be going on there and get it documented and move forward from there with the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions you got on it or anything. And, you know, one of the things that is yet to be done is figure out what to do with that road, or not road up to the tank, but around the base of the tank, get that more stable than it is at present. But we want to get among other things, get that or that transmission line rupturing resolved.
Jim,
Yes, sir.
plan mitigation, for the wellbore, if they identify a certain screen section that the gas is coming into the well
Mhm.
in,
Right.
they plan to seal off that section.
That's what's being
That's-
discussed
that,
right now. Yeah. Bring in cement packer on each above and below that faulty screen, or I shouldn't say screen, it's not screen faulty, it's a formation that's
Formation,
issuing the
correct.
gas. Try and get that sealed off if at all possible. That's the cure, if in fact that's what we find down there.
Sure.
So we'll keep you appraised as to what we find, and so that nobody's wondering, well, how come they came in and did that? So. Okay,
Very good. I appreciate that.
any other
update.
questions or?
Oh, that'd
Okay.
be- that'd
Thank
be
you,
pretty
gentlemen.
good if you Get that isolated.
Try to save the well.
And Tammy?
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate the comments. Any other communication from citizens, or we have anybody online? Yes, please, John, introduce yourself.
Are we gonna have any more burn days?
Please introduce yourself, John.
Huh?
Please introduce yourself.
John Reynolds.
Yes, okay, thank
Okay.
you. For the record.
Okay, are we gonna have any burn days?
Actually, Councilman Zent and I were just talking about that earlier. We are planning on having burn days applied hopefully at the end of this month into October. So there will be another.
Because down there where I live, you know, I try to keep it up the best I can in that, but I've probably got 20
Those
foot wide,
tumbleweeds are,
200 foot long.
yeah, I mean, they're horrible.
Tumbleweeds Off of the street.
Chief, has Mike already applied?
That's why I didn't get to talk to him today. see if he had applied.
I believe he did.
But that was the intention, is the application was to be submitted so we can have the burn days.
I got another question. Is it illegal to pitchfork them tumbleweeds over in the highway?
It's helping them along. I'll drive over them if you let me know when they're coming. And kind of scatter them out. I don't know. That's highway department. That's not my jurisdiction.
Drive over your transmission. You just stick in your tires, and wherever you go, you're dropping them good head where you go.
Yeah.
If they're 20 foot tall, they should be able to go over the fence by themselves.
Call when I throw them over. I'm probably, the way it is, the way the highway's grass is so high, I doubt if they'll go very far.
But we also have a fall cleanup that we'll be working on getting out to the
Right.
public. That's coming up as well. In addition to that's similar to the spring cleanup. We're also gonna have a fall cleanup. Once we get all the parameters figured out, we'll probably at the end of this month, we'll have all that worked out and be able to give some information on that too.
We had one last year, tumbleweed, that the wife saved, was gonna put Christmas ornaments on it. It's a good 4 foot tall.
Okay, well, I was just wondering if we was or what's going on.
Yeah,
What I could do and what I can't do.
No, Mike, on the burn days, Mike, I talked to Mike and I
Yeah.
believe he's.
Well, the
already
last
applied.
burn days, you couldn't, I don't think there was 2 days you could have burnt.
It rained too much, I know.
And wind and
Yeah.
everything. It was nasty.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I had the same issue.
All right.
Well, they'd go quick anyways. The wind.
I don't think we've,
Thing
I
is,
think we've
everybody-
covered everybody in the audience. And appreciate everybody's comment. If you don't come and talk to us, we don't know, so. Appreciate the comments. Move on, consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve A and B of the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes, August 22nd, 2023, and B, the approval of the bills, August 2023 to September 12th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Zent, second by Councilman Stetler, that we approve A and B of the consent agenda. Any further discussion?
I need to abstain on check number 22098. Which is made up to me. On the vote.
Do we haven't done that in the past? I'm asking our attorney on a general bill like that, do we need to abstain? I have checks made out to me also. That's something we haven't done in the past.
Reimbursement checks.
Right, yeah, no, yeah, and actually, yeah, you should separate those out and probably vote on. them
Vote
separate.
on them separately.
Yeah,
So if you can.
Yeah.
That's, and then,
so they're not part of the consent.
right, we'll vote on each check separately.
Or if you have a group of them, right, so like, let's say you have a group of
Well, what if we have checks to 3 councilmen, because we've had that, and then we're gonna have a form to vote.
So what we'll do is,
You two abstain, there's
no, yeah,
Well, still now, but we've had times when there's,
then,
we amend it. And say we approve all the bills except the following numbers.
Yeah.
And then have a separate vote on those items.
yeah, that's what I was just.
separately, each one
Yeah,
separately.
that's what I was saying, just pull out the ones where you need to have.
Right.
Okay. So I move we amend and pull out check number 22098 to Bob Zant. 22103 to Joel Highsmith. And 22124 to Joel Highsmith. And 22131 to Joel Highsmith. And approve all the other bills. We have a separate vote on those that we pulled out.
So. 22098. 22103. 22124.
And 22131.
22131. Okay, so the motion is approve the agenda minus the 4 checks as stated. One to Councilman Zent, 3 to Mayor Highsmith. Been second,
Yeah, second.
it's been second. As amended, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed the same. Let's first address the check to Councilman Zant, check number 22098. In the amount of
146.30.
146.30 for mileage.
Yeah, reimbursement.
Reimbursement, okay. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
I'll second.
Been moved by Councilman Stetler, second by Councilman Hardy. Be noted that Councilman Zen is abstaining from this vote. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same, motion passed, only. And next will be check number 22103, 22124, and 22,131. Could you give me the amounts on each check?
22,103, 419.20. 22,124. $34.06. And 22,131, 174.23.
This is for
Reimbursement, mileage reimbursement.
and a motion to approve. So moved. And I have a second.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Moved by Councilman Steller, second by Councilman Harkey. Discussion. Discussion. It'd be known that the mayor is going to abstain from the vote because the checks are made out to him. All in favor to approve the check, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Caspar's payment application, C 169,402. Kind of motion to approve. Been moved by Councilman Stetler, we approve, can I have a second?
Second.
And second by Councilman Zent, discussion.
And this is part of the original agreement.
Yeah, this was pay application 4. It included on your list the council chambers and the finishing of like the painting and the framing and the flooring aspects of it, mainly.
What percent are we, this put us at, is that also included in this? They put percentages
Percentage
of the project is completed.
Uh,
Does it include, does it show retainage on their paperwork? I just thought I remembered it did.
yeah, we have a 5% retainage.
Yeah. But in their application, I mean, pay application, does it show percent of?
Oh, complete, yes.
Yes, there,
So we're at 93% complete.
93% complete.
Sorry, I wasn't. not
Yeah, because I know I did it quite a close.
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing there raises any red flags that we haven't already discussed or talked about.
No, everything
Yeah,
was on the original bid schedule.
and this has been approved by the engineering from the architect plan one. Any further discussion? If none being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose the same. Payment approved, and all in the affirmative. Caspar's application number 561,699.
So move.
It's been moved by Councilman Zent, we approve
I'll
Casper
second it.
application 5. Been seconded by Councilwoman Hardkey. Discussion.
And this one puts it at 100% complete with remaining is the doors. We're waiting on some door cores and some electrical components that have not arrived. One of them was the manufacturer sent the wrong doors. We're not paying for that, but we are waiting for the correct doors to show up for them to finish completely. And that's the only thing that's remaining. Minus the punch list of things that were missed they were supposed to do that were missed, that the architect, the mayor, and Caspar walked around and inspected, that they will have to come back and fix, but those are things that have already been paid for that they need to fix before we sign off on final completion to release retainage.
What are we gonna do the water fountain?
They are gonna put in the plumbing and everything. They said we would have to pay for a water valve.
That was
No,
the original bid for the water valve, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Well, the water fountain. I believe the water fountain is near $1,400. For the water fountain,
That was the original bid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the original bed, they weren't supposed, I mean, the original,
Yeah,
they were not supposed to tear out the original.
okay. Oh, yeah,
So why are we buying it?
If we. So they're gonna replace all the plumbing and they'll replace all the plumbing that they tore out. But if we want a water fountain, we're gonna have to be paying for that.
that doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right. Hey, Rick, where are you at in the audience?
Right here. So we didn't replace it, so, yeah, what would have happened is we would have replaced it with a new one, because it was a 35-year-old water fountain that we would have replaced as part of the bid, and we would have paid more for it. It wasn't included in the bid, but they did rip out the plumbing. But as far as I'm aware, they're not charging us to put the plumbing back
They're
in.
not,
So
that's all,
we
that's
would
all
have
on
been
there.
paying for the actual fountain itself. One way or the other, we just never, that was one thing we didn't bid. You're not gonna build a brand new building and leave a 40-year-old water fountain in there that,
Right,
I mean,
so they are gonna put the new plumbing in to match up with the new water fountain.
I mean, we could take that one, I guess. And
It was a little CRL.
yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
But that was,
Answer my question.
and that there again, that was something that they shouldn't have tore it out to start off with, but
We still would have replaced it.
we still would have had to replace it. So. That's kind of where we're at with that. Any other questions? Kind of a motion to approve. Pay application number
Oh,
one.
we did.
Oh, yeah. Okay, call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye, pose the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Move down to permits. Business licenses, Columbia Basin Exteriors.
Well, I think he left, but I gotta go to the bathroom. He would just provided his business cards and samples. And that one is. It looks like they plan on doing a re-roofing job on 1300 California Street.
Yeah, John Reynolds.
Yeah.
Since he's gone, can we make a motion to adjourn?
We
Surprise.
can't do that. No presiding officer.
Here.
Okay.
Say aye.
Max.
One seat. Running water.
Valid point. Pictures.
You used to do that.
We would. If I was gonna become involved. Like as far as like. I'm pretty much a quality that's too loud. I didn't see it. I don't mind watching this. It's a breach of something. I said, well, not. Because. I think people are trying.
I'm not over there for this very, yeah.
And I understand. But again, it's not seeing when that's loud. It's my. That's
in our property, looking at the very edge of our property.
Time period.
Got a bunch of hidden homes. I gotta go hike out there.
Mows them,
Full photos.
he mows them before, letter goes. It was written up, like, he mows them. So it's letter, before I talk it.
Exactly. Oh.
Are we ready to vote? Where are we at on the business license?
No, I mean, that are there.
Ready to vote?
But I got some that transmit, some that don't.
I think we had a motion. Yes. Can I have a motion to approve the Columbia Basin?
We did. Some.
Been moved by Councilman Stetler. Can I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Hartkey. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. Business license, MDJ Roofer.
And this is another roofing company with a planned re-roof of 701 East First Street.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Moved.
We moved by Councilman Zinn. Can I have a second? Second by the Councilwoman Hartkeeper, business license for MDJ Roofers. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye, pose the same. Motion passed all affirmative. Special permit consumption, Shoshoni Rec District number 24. Tell us a little bit about that, Chief.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. It would be for a board class, geode board class, where they plan on having approximately 20 people attend, and they plan on consuming wine between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. on the 29th of September at the Shoshoni Rec District.
Can I have a motion to approve the special consumption permit for the Shoshoni Rec? Moved by Councilwoman Hartke. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Stetler. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. What was the same? Motion passes special permit for Shoshoni Rec District. Special permit consumption, KT's Catering. Talk about that, Chief.
And this will be for a wedding / event after the wedding. It will be held at the Shoshoni Community Room, the fire hall. And they are anticipating up to 200 people with 100 consuming malt, wine coolers, champagne and wine on the 23rd of September from 8 a.m. till 12 a.m. So all day.
Where's the location of this again?
Shoshoni Fire Hall Community Room.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
been moved by Councilwoman Hartke to approve the special permit for consumption for KT's Catering. Can I have a second?
Second.
Been seconded by Councilman Stetler. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. E. Sterling Enterprises LLC, they're a roofing company.
It's the general contractor, specifically roofing. That's what they have listed. They're based out of Graybull, Wyoming.
Can I have a motion to approve business license for Sterling Enterprises LLC?
So
We moved by Councilman Steller. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilwoman Harkey. Any further discussion? None being all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed the same. Can pass all the affirmative. New business, Shoshoni billboard.
What about unfinished business?
Oh, B and B Nunez's property went right past that. If, since our last meeting, council's had time to think about maybe what we want to do with that property. Any suggestions? We kicked around a lot of options. I've talked to a realtor and he asked for direction, what we want to do. That's, and I told him we were gonna kick it around and come up with a plan, but we don't want to rush into anything we're not sure of, so.
My feelings are, right now, I'll just sit on it for a while and let, see what's gonna happen with the interest rates and stuff like that for right now.
Not a bad idea.
That's my feelings.
That's not a bad idea at
Agree
all.
with that too.
Yep.
still
agree.
leaves it open to proposals for economic development,
That's right.
as always.
Okay. That works for me. I think that's a good plan. Yeah, I don't think we need to vote on it. We can just. We've had this discussion, we'll just. Keep it open for economic development as we have in the past. And just. If someone's got a good idea, bring something to us, we'll address it. Sounds like a good idea to me. Economic development, shooting complex.
Shoshoni billboard.
Oh, I skipped that. Okay, new business, Shoshoni billboard. Okay, there's a billboard that's been not being used for quite a while. It's actually on Stacy Morgart's property that was here. You know, that used to be the old Desert Inn. They had used it for years for advertisement.
Down here.
Yes. That would be available. I've talked to Stacy about a potential lease and potential 5-year lease. She has agreed she would lease that to the town and we could use it to promote the town. For $500 a year. Which that's real reasonable price. And it's doing an absolutely, if it keeps getting sitting there, it's doing the town zero good. I don't know at what point it needs to be removed, but that would give us fairly cheap advertising. If we wanted, basically the way they wrap them. You put out a deal, I don't know, what's $700-800 for a wrap. Wrap usually lasts 3 years. You can change it sooner if you want. We could use it to advertise events we have going on in the town. We could advertise it, use it for advertising land for sale. I mean, things that would help the community. We could talk, about events. We could advertise like what we have going on now. The 3-on-3 basketball tournament for one. I mean, you could, it's a pretty good sized billboard. You could address multiple issues. I just thought ought to bring that up to the council and see what you think.
She have a permit from the state for it?
I'm gonna check on that, make sure the permit is still valid. It may not. But that's not a big issue to get a permit.
My question is, how is it structurally? Has it been inspected lately?
We're
And who would be responsible for its upkeep? For structural integrity?
for the $500 a year, we would. But I've looked at it. If I would have to have a company that would wrap it, take a look and see if there's any further thing that they would need. But after their inspection, I'm just bringing this up. If they say it's not gonna work, then this isn't gonna happen, but before I bring in the company that would wrap it and inspect it to make sure everything is gonna work. I didn't want to bring the idea to you guys. If you don't think it's a good idea, then I won't go any further with it, but if you think it's a good idea, then I will pursue it.
Seems like another liability for the town. We have our $50,000 light bright down the road that solves that need as far as if we're gonna have something that, if you wanna say, welcome to Shoshoni, Yellowstone's 200 miles away, right? But I think when you get into the rotating, if it's trying to go for events, that would be up against the cost of one more line item of however many billboards, wraps a year or whatever it would be.
Well, it wouldn't be, a wrap can last as long as 3 years.
If you're doing events.
Yeah, if you did, but if we're doing Labor Day weekend, like hot summer, you're doing that same weekend. Every year, if you're doing the basketball tournament. Fourth weekend in May or whenever that is, you just put the annual event and the date. We might want to advertise our land for sale. I mean, there's multiple. I'm just throwing ideas at. I mean, this is something we'd have to sit down and figure out.
Does it have lights?
No,
Would we put lights on it?
that was something we could talk about. I mean, this is, like I said, I'm in the initial stages. If we wanna, if we're interested in doing this. Or if not,
I'm right now not ready to go into it. Like Mike said, it's another liability. I mean, we're looking at more expenses and I'm ready to say, wait a minute.
I just think that's very inexpensive advertising, but it's whatever the council desires. I just wanted to bring it up. So, whatever the council wishes, that's good.
I don't really know what to say about it, honestly. It'd be nice if it was rented at all. It'd look a lot nicer if it's structurally sound and still
Well, sure.
permitted.
Well, permit, I've checked, permits is a pretty
Yeah.
simple thing. Like I said, before we went anywhere,
We would check
we'd
sounds.
inspect it, make sure it is, this is just first stage. No need to do the other if the council wants to support it. So if you don't think it's a good idea, then we won't do it. Not all of my ideas are good. But I mean, but it is, it's gotta speak the truth, huh? But it's just, that's pretty inexpensive building space. So I'm just curious, is there an expiration date on? when it- As far as, that they want an answer from something? No, they didn't tell me the answer yet and there, yeah, I actually reached out to them. And said if they, would they be interested in something like that? And the answer, well, yeah, it would be good for the community. I know the big billboard in River, of course, it is bigger, going into Riverton is 7,000 a year. Yeah, the pricing. So I talked to the billboard guy over there and this probably should be at least $1,500, but anyway, so that's a bargain. I just checked with him, but I have no idea what the going rate for a billboard is, so I did a little research. Stacy said she'd be nice to get something in it, you know, wouldn't. She said she wanted to be reasonable to town, you know. That she wouldn't have to have a lot of money, just maybe something, and so that's where that 500 came up with. But that was. But like I said, we may not have things we want to put there. I'm just.
Have it, I don't know, I don't know if we have a need for it though. That's what I don't know.
Would it, the question, would it create any additional, monies coming into the town where it's doing some good?
Right, yeah.
No, and that's the question you should be asking. And that's exactly, I think it might, you know. But maybe it doesn't. I
don't know.
It might help us sell land. Advertise our acreage we got south west of town. I don't know. Our events that are gonna be held at the same time every year could be put up there.
I think we should just wait on it.
Yeah. You want me to look into it more or just drop it or
just drop it for now.
for now? You want to revisit it in 6 months?
Well,
We can put it on the agenda in 6 months.
Okay, if I get interesting information, looks any better, like I said. We'll move on then. Economic development, the shooting complex. Okay, FCAC, Fremont County Association of Governments is seeking the shooting complex, as you know, in Fremont County. We've agreed to put it in the best spot, Fremont County. I know we've already identified 3 sites and possibly a 4th, these 3 sites. That it could possibly be in. 2 of the sites are closest to Shoshoni. A 3rd site is in the Hudson Lander area that we've been looking at. There may be another one in Riverton. They haven't identified anything yet, but we're looking at this shooting complex. I believe we talked about it, could be $100 million complex. Could be more, depends on what it costs a bit, you know, what things cost now. It's hard to guess the cost. The shooting complex, we believe could probably self-sustain itself within 5 years. It could bring, you know, thousands. Just for instance, we'll look at Raton, which that is the best class, you know, facility, what they got there, but they have 33,000 acres. But their shooters, they have shooters. I believe the number was 1.4 million or 1.2 million shooters a year go through that complex. If we got a third or 25% of that here, which could just try to put the scope of that. We do have some top trainers in the country that live right here in Fremont County. One of them travels all over the country, training people. He feels if we have this facility built here, he probably wouldn't have to leave Fremont County. People will come to him. Estimate that the training could probably pay 50% or more of the operational cost of the facility. Shotgun may pay. There a lot of money is spent on shotgun. This will be a year-round. It'll be a large indoor complex, which will be. This is going to include all disciplines that we've talked about. Black powder, air gun, handgun, rifle, archery, training. Have a lot of training from adults, from youth to adults. This would be a good thing for Fremont County as a whole. If it's gonna, wherever it's put, it's gonna help the county as a whole. If it's relatively near Shoshoni, it could be, it would be, the economic boom to our town would be a lot. There's gonna be full-time employees. This type of facility will attract industry, shooting industry people here. From gun shops, gun sales, gunsmiths, maybe. I'm having a meeting with Vortex Scope Thursday. On maybe some sponsorship, would bring in, like Vertone has over 100 sponsors, that we will get something like this will draw in the big names. I'm talking to Ruger relatively soon. This will draw in some big names. This is it's going to be somewhere in the state of Wyoming, but we have the right air, the lack of wind, the air density, the elevation. Fremont County is just really good spots. FCAG is going together, and we're putting funds together between all the municipalities in the county. One of the things that they recognize that they'll be spending monies, and they need a budget. So we're developing a budget for that. They're gonna, all of the other municipalities in the county and the county, we're gonna be going to the county next week and asking for more funding. So this is what this is, but for like expenses we pay on meals and travel, mileage and everything will not have to, the FCAG will bear that cost. And this funding, and if we're gonna be have an economic study done, there's gonna be rendering, we're gonna be spending money to promote Fremont County for this project. September 27th, the next meeting for the Wyoming State Task Force is here in Riverton. So Fremont County, we need to show up in force, but this is something that would be very beneficial, economically beneficial for the whole county. This could bring millions of dollars a year economic benefit to the county.
So is this group asking the town to contribute money or what?
Yeah, the town, we're asking the town from the economic development, the half-cent money. We're asking the town for $2,500. To come out of the economic development half-cent money that we have. And there's gonna be asks in from all the municipalities and the counties for this funding, because it's countywide, it's gonna help.
How's it gonna benefit Shoshoni?
Well, what if we put this 4 miles out of Shoshoni and we bring in 1,000 hunters? Or shooters?
I think we should be fair and realistic on that.
That's what I just said is fair and realistic. What do you feel that you disagree with?
I feel there's not an airport here. I feel that historically speaking, our motel doesn't get anybody because they go to Riverton to stay. There's not the workforce here in Shoshoni to support big business. I don't know a lot about
What if we get $100 million complex here? What if we get $100 million complex that's going to employ 10 people at the complex, work 4 people? What if they want to buy a house near Shoshoni because they want to live close to where they work? What if we have shoots that brings in 1,000 people? Maybe that'd help encourage someone to put a motel or cabins or build a cafe in Shoshoni. We will have year-round business. What if we generate 250 to 350,000 people who come to this facility every year? What if?
Okay, what I've heard so far is that Fremont County is probably number 4 on the list. First, Casper, airport, hospital, land. Second, Douglas. Douglas is actually tied with Cheyenne or with Sheridan. Douglas has a state police academy in it, which would be a spin-off, a tangent, and those police academy people could use this complex as well. The time with Douglas is Sheridan with its manufacturing of Weatherby. And Fremont County ends up as number 4. That's how I've heard this concept so far being placed.
Where have you heard that from?
There's people I talked to around state.
Yeah, I've talked to some and I hear a lot different story, but.
So what did you hear?
Okay, I've talked to. Casper's a town to beat.
Okay.
Okay, they say airport. Airport is also almost not important at all. That's way down the list. Airport. Shooters do not fly. Shooters do not fly. Almost all shooters drive. Almost all shooters drive. Are you gonna take your $50,000 gun and hand it to a TSA guy and they're gonna throw it around in the plane? Or are you gonna take your $10,000 worth of ammunition on the plane? No. You're gonna drive. Almost all shooters drive. There's people that do not understand that. Very few shooters you'll see fly. They almost all drive.
Okay, keep on going.
B, can't be Casper, too much wind. If you're looking at the complex the state is asking for, too much wind. Douglas, too much wind will not. The wind is the number one thing that affects shooting, long range shooting. They're wanting an ultra long range. An ultra long range does not work in wind. They do hold some ultra long range shooting in Casper, but inconsistently because of the wind, the shooters don't like it. Some of them go anyway to get a patch that they've been there. You never have repeat winners because it has so much to do with luck and not skill. You need to be skilled, but you need a lot of luck. Shooters do not like the wind. Fremont County has I've had shooters call this the Shoshoni Basin. The ideal, the air density We have enough, and the air are very dry. Our average wind speed is below what they need. Rock Springs is chasing it really hard. Rollins is making a strong pitch. All the same issues. Rollins, some of the higher elevations in Shoshoni. Higher elevation is good, but we're high enough. But higher elevation is good because air density is very important. But wind is so big. Thermopolis is putting together a really good plan. They probably, I don't feel they have enough land, but maybe to do what, you know, what I'm doing with Thermopolis is putting a very good plan. A lot of people, airport, those guys that don't know anything about shooting. An airport, most of these, this shooting complex need to have RV park on it besides, because there isn't enough RV parks in our county to support all of that. It's probably going to have housing. It may even have some housing for staff. It's probably going to have maybe not a motel, but it could. It's probably going to be cabins like we talked about here for Shoshoni. That makes a lot of sense. You go down to Raton, they have that there. It's probably going to be a pro shop there. A pro shop will probably not sell stuff that you can buy at Rocky Mountain. They will be selling high-end stuff. You'd probably stuff you're not finding in Sportsman's Warehouse. They're going to probably be selling high-end stuff because they don't want to be in competition with the locals. It's going to have a cafeteria to feed, cafeteria style that can feed certain during the events for certain people. Motels will fill up here and they'll be staying there. But a lot of them travel in RVs, motorhomes, campers. You'll see this facility is probably going to be greater than 3,000 acres. Just to put a scope on it, right? Greater than 3,000 acres. You got to have the safety. I don't know where they're going to put it in Casper that doesn't have a ton of wind. Same thing with Rollins has really got a nice complex down there, and they want it, and Rollins probably got some land to live with. Too much wind, too much winter. In the winter time, we have an unusual winter, but we have milder winter here than a lot of Wyoming. We usually have a lot milder than Riverton and Lander. I mean, but Fremont County, a lot of the people that know things about shooting, well, we're definitely in the mix, and even right now for ranks 4, we're in the mix. They're probably going to be a short list.
Okay, so right now, what I'm hearing you say is that you want the council to approve $2,500 from the 1 cent
half cent.
for economic development for this project.
Correct.
So you need a motion on that?
Yeah, I would need a motion to approve the $2,500 to come out of there. Yes, I will.
Okay,
I think we have a legitimate chance to get it.
I'll make that motion.
Right?
so how much will we have in the 1 cent? Oh, that's a discussion, okay.
Can I have a second? Then moved by Councilman Stetler. Can I get a second?
I have a second.
And we have a second for Councilman Zent. Discussion.
How much do we have in our 1 cent?
You want an exact amount or really close?
What's in?
Ballpark. We have 29,000 this year budgeted. 8,000 budgeted for events, so 37,000 total for this year. We have 51,000 saved from previous years that has not been expended, so total of approximately 75,000.
Okay. That's my question.
It seems to me that, like you guys said, we're kind of down on the list a little bit, but if everybody can join forces, I'm not even sure if personally I want it here, being honest, but
It
it could be good for business in the community.
Where? When I'm looking at the
I'm-
map over on Shoshone. Town,
Anywhere in
it's-
Fremont County would be
It
good.
won't
for
be in the
Shoshone.
township, that's- I'm gonna see it.
So it won't be in Shoshone.
Pardon?
It won't be in any town, period. It'll be
No, it's gonna be,
outside.
it's gonna be outside the
It's gonna be
city
a
limits.
county property or private property they buy.
So I guess that's what I'm coming back to. How does it benefit Shoshone? The town of Shoshone.
It's got-
Travelers,
If it brings, brings
keep the
another,
motel full, the RV park behind the hotel,
Theoretically, people
Thompson's
that
RV park,
Come through town, stop at Fast Lane, stop at the RV park,
maybe a business or two
indirect.
to support it.
rent a motel room, eat in a cafe. If it brings additional 300,000 people to Shoshone, to drive through Shoshone.
So I think it's fair to say, well, how many people stayed in Shoshone during the rodeo days, and how many people stay during the county fair, and how many people stay during Lander Beer Fest and some of these other, how many schools stay here for the sports?
What if we have an event that's a business that has people coming in year round? It may entice someone, build a motel or put in some cabins, may entice someone to build a restaurant. There will be people that may move to Shoshone to be the proximity of the shooting facility. There will be probably people that move to Riverton, people that move to Lander. Because they want to be near that facility. This is a world-class facility. This is what the state is directing us. They want to build.
I feel like
Be a large indoor.
if we don't pursue it, there's gonna be a whole lot of what ifs.
I mean, this could bring millions a year to Fremont County.
Let's call for the vote on this.
Okay. Everybody's done with discussion? All in favor of $2,500 request to FCAG out of the half-cent fund, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same,
I,
4-1. Pass. Note that Councilman Dimick voted against the proposal. Thank you. It's a gamble, but I think it's worth a stab to bring, or we're gonna get another chance, get another anything like this to our county. And possibly near our town.
Just one question, since the clerk is here.
Okay,
Are we gonna pay that $2,500 immediately?
No.
Or is it gonna be once the other members of FCAG all agree to also contribute?
we will, once FCAG gets there, we have to, FCAG's got to, we verbally approved to do this, our last meeting, we didn't make a motion and pass. FCAG is also putting in $4,500 of FCAG's own budget, besides what they're asking from all the other municipalities. So, this wasn't, had anything to do with what the other communities do. But it's, everybody we talked with, within FCAG, all the mayors support this, as does Ron, that's just the county commissioner that is on FCAG. And we went over what we're looking at, and I don't know if we get 3 county commissioners to agree on it, but I'm pretty sure all the municipalities are supporting this. Or I know, at least know all the mayors are. Good, and everybody was, but we won't worry about writing a check until we got no place to put it.
Right, I was just.
Yeah, we don't have no place to put it. Our next FCAG meeting, we'll pass a motion that how we're gonna handle the money. We all agreed to it, we just, didn't vote on it.
Just gotta make it official.
Yeah, we gotta make it official before we do it. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're doing, yes. Approval of the MOU for the traffic task force. Would you talk to us a little bit about that, chief?
So. As you're aware, Every year we participate with NHTSA and through NHTSA, the state of Wyoming Highway Safety, YDOT, on specific special enforcement events. One being occupant protection, so during certain months, May, August events, is increase in law enforcement overtime to go out and enforce traffic laws, looking for seatbelts and things of that nature. And then we have another one that's specifically for impaired driving. So 4th of July, Labor Day, and we do those, and we have funding for those through NHTSA. Well, Fremont County is the #1 offender per capita. And so we kind of got the attention of the federal government.
Yeah, #1 in the nation. We're #1.
And there's obviously a huge problem in Fremont County as a whole. And so the chiefs, as member of the Fremont County Task Force that we collectively formed, that we talk about, one of the things that came up was how can we have more of an impact? Because that money was a task force, but the money was finite. So we agreed to work specifically within our county together, not just as individual departments for that overtime. And through that, Chief Peters sought to find a way to recapitalize some money that wasn't being spent from YDOT and fund 3 full-time officers for Fremont County, one for Riverton, one for Lander, one for the sheriff's office to do nothing but traffic enforcement. That's their sole purpose. That was the idea. So that kind of went through. The state kicked it back and said, okay, let's do a pilot program. And that's when Shoshoni became involved. So what this is not a full-time officer, it's just expansion of overtime. But it's gonna be in the guys, instead of the DUI task force, this one will be a traffic task force that will take place throughout the county. So between Riverton, Lander, Shoshoni, and the sheriff's office, in conjunction with Highway Patrol, the 5 agencies will combine to do enforcement events targeting traffic with the idea to show a decrease in fatalities, serious bodily injury, and impaired driving, and incidents of both or all 3 by going throughout the county as a group. So it would be a 100% cooperative framework amongst every agency, law enforcement agency, minus Du Bois right now, only because they are brand new in Fremont County. So when there's a Brewfest, for example, we'll do maximum enforcement on Highway 287 or somewhere in that area. 2026, certain times we'll come out here and you'll have Lander PD, Riverton PD, Sheriff's Office, Highway Patrol, Shoshoni PD. And the MOU is from the Sheriff's Office for jurisdictional authority to operate during those events and have jurisdiction to be able to operate outside of our base jurisdiction. And that's the MOU is codifying that aspect of that. So all cities would join with the Sheriff's Office. Obviously, the Highway Patrol doesn't need an MOU to operate, but all the individual cities would. And so what we do have is the state is very interested in how this is going to evolve and what it's going to look like, what the impacts will be. So they gave us essentially seed money, $20,000 in 2 tranches. The first would be 10,000 and then another 10,000 per agency. So this is a large cooperative maximum enforcement effect that we're trying to show actual impact within Fremont County. And not just targeted to one city, not targeted to one area. It's wherever there's issues, we'll respond to and go out there and address those as a complete law enforcement team from Fremont County.
Does the BIA participate?
No, we won't do anything with reservation lands. Because that requires extra certifications, and there's a lot of legal framework that we wouldn't operate out there just because it's not the liabilities and whatnot.
So is the majority of the offenses in the county only tracked within, can we call it non-sovereign land?
No, it's tracked there too. Anything on the highways is still tracked at the state level. But at a local level, we have mapping, and so we're able to look at the hotspots. Obviously, 20 north of here is one, 2026 east of here is one. The highway between here and Riverton at times is one. Highway 26, 28. So there's specific times, and we have, that's what we'll evaluate to target. I'm not gonna call it a target rich environment, but
Productive.
but the idea is to be maximum impact. So it's not just to come out and just drive around and collect extra overtime. It's to actually go out and have proven results and be able to use that as a basis to show that we can do something to reduce fatalities. We can do something to reduce serious bodily injury. We can do something to reduce DUIs. And that might be sometimes in Riverton city limits. It might be sometimes outside, but it'll be in addition to the on-duty forces. So it's not, like I said, the original vision of this was to have 3 full-time law enforcement officials that did nothing but traffic throughout the county. And the state instead worked out this pilot program that we would be operating within that framework.
You could be traveling east towards Casper, someone could be, and there could be 5 or 6 police officers out there. One go by, hey, I'm too hammered down. Bingo, the next guy's got him.
Is there room for more than 4 in Shoshone?
Yeah, we won't be all in Shoshone. It'd be in
You can have a Jake brake enforcer,
Yeah.
stop sign enforcer.
yeah, all 4 corners, but yeah, the idea is, where the maximum effects would be, which is at various times and throughout, during certain events throughout the county. And that's what we'll all be working together, which I think is really a good thing. I don't think it's very frequently that all law enforcement agency heads in this county have all came together with a singular goal of doing something. So I think this is a really big step forward.
I think it is. It's similar to FCAG, but other counties are amazing. We have that here in
It's-
Fremont County.
I guess it's
You
kind
get
of
everybody
like,
to work together.
it's kind of like the law enforcement version of FCAG, I guess.
Yeah. Everybody pull together with the same goal.
But it would be funded, it's all funded by the state by virtue of.
So you need to approve a motion to say, we will join this traffic task force.
But I-
MOU.
Authority for me to speak.
Yes.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Move Councilman Zent, second by Councilman Stetler, that we approve the MOU for the traffic task force. Any further discussion?
We were having this discussion at work and it absolutely blows my mind that the law enforcement will say, we are doing a super sweep for DUIs and people still get DUIs. They tell you on the radio, they're gonna do it and you still do it.
They're not gonna get caught. There's too
many other drunks. They'll be
many
busy with
drunks
that.
out there.
Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose the same. Motion passed, all in affirmative. Good job, chief. That was, I got the. I think, yeah, you chiefs together have done well. Current sidewalks, new town hall, fire marshal pointed out, we have some sidewalk work that has to be done before he will allow us to move one piece of furniture in town hall. He won't sign the occupancy release until that's done. We have leaving on the north side, the sidewalk, I guess, the step out has to be level. You can't have a step down, so we gotta tear that out and replace it. It's gotta be level and then put 2 steps instead of 1 to make it meet code. Cause that first step is not allowed. And then we changed where we put our door on the west side, which is be an exit out of the courtroom or council. That wasn't in our plan. They're making us. Eventually, we're gonna put sidewalk there. Don't really plan to use it, but he said we gotta have a little sidewalk there on that exit before they would accept that. And then on the existing sidewalk, just a little bit south of that, there's a drain and a grate. Well, the grate is too wide.
Catch a wheelchair.
A wheelchair or a lady's high heels could fit in there. And so we gotta replace that grate also. The initial thought was replace all the cement, but the fire marshal, we had a contractor reach out and the fire marshal agreed we just replace the grate. So I reached out to 6 different contractors for bids. I've received 2. There's fair amount of difference in one, but one of the contractors bid removing removing all the big block of cement on the north side. The other one said he could do it a lot. He gave us a price if the city removed it with our equipment, which we could do pretty easily. But it's not fair to the other one without giving him the same option. I would like to talk to the other contractor and give him the same option. I can say that this, I'm sure will be under $3,000 to do this.
They did kind of have the same option. One just came up with an idea the other one didn't have.
Yes, he did. He came up with that would save the town, let's say the
The guy
town,
could be rewarded for.
save the town quite a bit of money. You know, and if you want me to go with that, like, you know, the one guy did bid basically what we asked.
I'm with you 100%. It's welcome to free enterprise. I used my brain. I get screwed for it.
No. Well, you know, the price was he still may be too high. But I was just
You're
saying,
just trying to whittle her down as little as you can. I get it.
you know, I'm just trying to. But do you want me to go with the lower the price with the city doing removing that big chunk of concrete?
I think it's fair to say who are the contractors that are bidding on it?
They're both,
Don't matter to me.
should I?
Well, you've already put out the bid.
Yeah, put out the bid. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, we have 2 contractors. One is what's his contractor name? Outlander. Leaf Green. General contractor. Yeah, I don't know. I can get his bid and get the number.
It was an important detail.
Name?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
As far as transparency.
What his name is off the top, or what his business name is off the one, I don't know what the other one is. I just know that it needs to get done, and the longer we wait,
Whether it's gonna change.
that's my point. You know,
Tear it
it's
out,
keep
put it in
waiting
dirt.
Weeks and weeks and weeks, but I mean,
You only have to have sidewalk apparently.
Yeah, what kind of material?
And because of the amount being small, this wasn't something we advertised. I just personally contacted contractors, and asked them if they would give me an estimate for the work and scope of work and then the numbers. One of the numbers came in from Leaf Green Drywall and Insulation out of Lander, and the other one's Boyson Builders out of Shoshoni.
A roofer?
Yeah. Boyson Builders out of Shoshone. He does general contract work.
That's what he came across.
He does-
That's
he
a
does.
general contractor who did the roof.
Yeah.
So which one is cheapest?
Boyson Builders.
Licensed and insured? Does he have a
Yes.
business- a business permit this time?
Yep.
I have no problem with going with him.
Okay.
Any previous experience?
He says he does.
Is it documentable?
Did a good job on the roof, I guess.
Yeah, did a pretty good job on the roof.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I've been involved recently in some same things. Got raked over the. Oh, I'm good at this. And they ask those simple questions. What can you show? Okay, I got a picture. Well, 33 years ago, I did this. Yeah, it doesn't.
We're not constructing the Astrodome, but we're just putting in a little sidewalk.
Little sidewalk, big liability. Someone falls on or breaks their high heel in the hole.
But yeah, he would build it to specs.
It has to be engineered by.
Plan one.
Plan one, yeah,
We'll
so
spend
that's
more-
not in the bid yet,
Plan one.
just plan one to give us a number on that cost for their engineering requirements,
No, they've already done
okay.
That's probably more expensive.
The cement, yeah, you're right.
it. Huh? Larry. Larry. Okay. Okay, the number. His number doesn't have. The number I have in front of me doesn't have a quote for the grade, but he said it would be, believes to be under $1,000 or less.
For the grate
The grate we gotta replace.
or for the job.
No, not for the job, for the grate.
Great.
His bid was $1,525 less for the grade. So with the grade, with the grade, it could be as high as
Or
$2,500.
the town's gonna buy the grate.
He'll buy the grade and he'll sell. He'll provide us the bill and won't charge us any markup on the grade, at his cost. The other bid that, he would do everything, grade included, he's already got that, and remove the concrete and everything, $3,750. So about $1,200, about a third difference, about $1,200 difference in the price.
What do you think it would cost the town to have employees remove the block and dispose of it?
Boyce and Builder said he'll dispose of it as long as the town would lift it out of there with their
Backhoe or whatever?
backhoe or whatever and put it in his trailer.
Oh,
He'll haul it to the bill.
it'd take a couple hours, I would think, or less.
Need a day for,
Is it?
well, when they have to make sure that they don't cut anything, sprinkler systems, all other stuff have to be marked and.
I think I could do it 4 hours easy. I don't, it's just,
You just had to go there, didn't you, Bob?
You're welcome.
Is he insured?
yes. He was insured for that last job.
We
he
have a
did.
copy of that?
Yes,
Just add just the
Where I was going, so if our town employees gets into it, then that's on us.
sure.
That's right.
That's what you were thinking.
That's right.
Save $1,200, but or more, but that's.
Definitely have to do something before winter gets here.
No, we need to move on this because we can't move in
Until then,
until then. This is something we gotta do.
Does this have to be handicap accessible, or we only have to have one handicap?
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be handicap acceptable. Yeah, the plan one is, and then the fire marshal, we've got instructions on how it's supposed to be built. The handicap issues are that great. For the wheelchairs.
But no railings or any. that's
No,
all.
It's not a, it's for exiting.
we could put railings if the town wanted to. Plan one in their drawings is gonna also have railings. If the town so elects to do that, but that would be additional cost if we want to put a railing or 2 railings. We could do that. It's not required.
Yeah, two-step control. Okay.
Greg thought it cost more than the steps. So you need a motion to approve?
Do you,
Go ahead.
do you want me to to approve one or the other? Do you want me to go back to the builders or approve? What do you want to approve?
Was. I
Do you
think
want to
it-
approve the low bid or do you want to approve the other bid?
Yeah, is that the motion? Do you need a motion to approve the low bid on?
Yes,
I make a motion, we approve the bid for. Boys and
Builders.
Builders
Second.
for the amount of,
That's not gonna be that amount. Yeah, we won't know the final amount until we get the grade in. So
For no more than $2,500.
for no more than $2,500.
not to exceed, okay, so I'm
If it costs more than that,
do a change order.
yeah, or come and ask the council what we want to do.
Okay,
Approved for $2,500.
so make a motion, we approve the bid for Boys and Builders for 25, not to exceed $2,500 for the new town hall steps.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we approved the Boyce and Builders for not to exceed $2,500 for the new sidewalk. Any further discussion? What's the time limit that he has to complete it? Boyce and Builder said he'd get at it next week. So that's on my house. Yeah, so, but anyway, but we need to get this done in the next two weeks so we can move in.
About your house?
It would be done. But we need to get this in, we need to get done in the next 2 weeks. So we can start moving in. Cause our plan would be to start moving the PD and the public works first. But we can't move a stick of furniture till this is done and the fire marshal's written off on it.
That's why I was asking about.
Right.
In addition to that, 10 minutes to complete it.
Yeah. So. They can't. Get it done in the next 2 weeks. That would be a different issue.
Do we need to amend that?
Do we want to put that stipulation in? Probably.
Boy, if it says no, then we're gonna be 2 weeks to the next meeting,
Yeah.
so we can go through this again.
Well, you often be, it does work.
That gotta be part of the motion.
If the low bidder cannot meet our requirements, give me the authority to go to the next bid.
Yes.
I second that amendment.
So the motion is to approach the low bidder and not to exceed $2,500 and has to have the job completed within 2 weeks.
He's unable to.
So if we put. Do we wanna call that the 2.5 weeks? That would be the 29th of September. That's a
Okay,
Friday.
29th of September, okay,
Because that would give you option to call your
right.
marsh or the. Mhm.
Right. Yeah, I like. The motion is. The low bidder maximum $2,500. The project has to be done by September 29th by 5 PM.
That means your marshal can't be here until. October 2nd.
Oh.
Well, if you'd accept photos emailed in or something.
Oh, I
don't know.
Yeah, the marshal, the one that'll inspecting's out of Hudson. So we probably ought to. The morning of the 29th or the 28th.
I would suggest the 28th by
Yes.
5 PM.
Okay,
That is
I
a
like,
Thursday,
yes,
and then he can show up on Friday.
sure.
I would still second that amendment.
Yeah.
Is the ugliest amendment,
Oh,
ugliest thing.
we've had worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been moved and second that you instructed me that we'll accept the low bid as long as he can. At a bid of not to exceed $2,500 and. Project has to be done by September 28th by 5 p.m.
$1,000 a day penalty.
So, yeah, probably won't work. Yeah, it should, but, so we've been moved and second, any further discussion? None,
With the,
If there's work, go to the second.
yeah, that was in the amendment that
okay,
if that can't be met, then you will
You
go
want
to the
the
second
second,
option.
go to the second option. Yeah, I'm just struggling with the value we're putting towards it, but I think we're probably covered with we saved $1,200 our city workers, I think that still works. So that's my way.
You said
we already
one-
kicked it around.
You
but-
said one guy, 4 hours, right?
Yeah, or two guy. Yeah. 4
Days
hours.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 hours, yeah, two, it'll probably, our skidster and. Yeah. So, that's probably pretty good pay for our guys. Just giving that a thought, but yeah. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose the same. Motion passed. Get on that. Police report.
Yeah, we don't have the monitors anymore. They got moved.
I was there on our TV.
We got ripped off.
On a lockdown town hall.
We had a really busy August. We had, of note, we had 3 canine deployments. Also had 3 incidents of controlled substances and 1 controlled substance overdose that we encountered in August. So we did have a fairly large amount of drug involved incidents. We also did have a DUI in the midst of all that. 2 burglaries, 1 from a vehicle, and another theft from a business. And we've had an increase in suspicious, quote unquote, suspicious unknown persons coming into town and loitering around and being called in for abnormal behavior or just concerning behavior of their presence, because they're not known, or they're, which kind of ties into some of the theft and the controlled substance. So you probably noticed we've had a fair number of new residents come to Shoshoni in the last couple of months that you may or may not know from other places, but they're new to Shoshoni. I'm not saying they're the ones that are committing all these. I'm just saying that there is more people that are starting to come over to Shoshoni, and as a result, we've had some incidents involving these types of things. A lot of this is spillover from what Riverton's experiencing, as well as Lander and kind of nationwide with various things, fentanyl, methamphetamines, and things of that nature. So it does still happen in smaller towns, and unfortunately, as people get in trouble in one town, they move to the next town to try to avoid and evade law enforcement. And that's some of what we're encountering. Our calls for service have increased throughout the year. And we are now at 24% increase for the month from last year, 33% increase from 2021, and 9% increase from 2020. So a fairly significant increase in call volume month over month, or year over year for the month. And any questions or complaints or concerns? Anything we can do better? There's always something we can do better.
Well, what do you think you can do better, chief?
I think
You're on ground zero level there. Where would you
I asked
think?
you about the signs that used to be outside of town where it had like residential 20 miles an hour. I don't see those signs anymore.
about 2 years ago, we installed some signs and we got a lot of angry pushback from citizens about they don't want the signs in their neighborhood because of parking. But we can go around and reassess. Are you talking on California or
No,
Oak?
this was on Second Street.
Yeah,
When you first came into town.
Oh, coming from, one sign got hit with a DUI a year ago.
What are the ones on the north side of town? I think we had 3 of them.
We have one that goes the 45. And there's a big one that placard that lists residential areas are 20.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about? So that one, I don't think I've never seen one on the east side or the west side, sorry.
That's provided by the state, correct?
It is.
Yes.
correct, Yeah.
That's theirs, not us. We can request it though, correct?
Yeah, we can request they put up the signage. It doesn't mean that they will. We can
Correct.
Request anything we want.
Right,
Yeah.
we've had issues. We've made a lot of requests on speed signs coming into town.
The last one we did was trying to get them to taper down to 45 coming up the hill, and they said no.
It's not a racetrack coming to town.
What did it say about a stoplight?
Stoplights in small towns are notorious for hatred. But I never have asked them honestly about putting a stop sign there specifically.
We had 4 years, Shoshoni, I know we did.
I think it would
They
be.
had a stoplight?
I think. it'd be
Yes, we
useful.
asked for a stoplight.
You asked or you had?
We have asked.
Oh, but we've not, but it's not, there's not been a stoplight.
No, and I believe Mayor Peters even, I believe, requested a
Because in the
stoplight.
in the summertime, north southbound is so backed up because of the stop sign having, at least a partial stop light that is only in effect at certain times would probably be
Seasonal.
useful, but it's something we can always ask again.
Sure.
What was the last traffic study done on the state?
Last year.
Okay.
I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I think it was 1.3 million and 900,000.
Well, what you need are more accidents in this corner, then you'll get a stoplight. That's how they work.
Actually, coincidentally, that's how Fastlane was able to get the entrances that they do have, is because I put together our traffic crashes, because if they're a certain threshold, they don't go to the state, they stay internal. And so I put together actual traffic incidents there, and that's why they were able to get the entryways that they have now, because the original plan from the engineers said they could not have their entryways.
They were too, they had
Correct.
small ones, 45%, 50
Yep.
floors.
And so that was actually utilized in that effect with the state to be able to, so that's a very valid point. When you have those things, you do get results. for them.
But higher ups in DOT overruled the local engineer out of Basin
Yes,
with the evidence that Chris provided.
and that might be something that we could put together to maybe justify something. So I don't know, something.
Yeah.
Because it is very frustrating when you have to circle the block of a residential neighborhood because you're never gonna be able to get 5 semi trucks in front of you and wall to wall east to west traffic and nobody goes.
I believe Chris knows the new YDOT director.
Yes, I do.
I believe that's probably not gonna help us from the way you answered that.
Sure.
Did you give him a ticket, jerk? Is that how you guys met? He was on his way to work.
Yeah, something like
No, I
that.
don't know. The last director was a good friend of Skip Horniker, so that he was favorable, looked favorably upon Shoshoni.
Does the police department need anything further from us at this time?
Well, I am looking for, trying to pin down an appropriate replacement for the Durango to start getting the bid process done for later on, since it's 9 months, whatever, from, bid to
Right.
all that stuff, but, as of right now, we're new budget year, so I think we're
Okay.
plan on getting that position fully filled, hopefully November
Okay, yeah, the one we discussed.
during the budget. stuff,
Approved,
so.
actually.
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't have a number yet, sure, no limit, but hopefully November.
It's good.
Anything else?
I think that's, okay, covers it all.
Did Mike give us a report or do?
No, I know that he did have, well, not gonna get into personnel, but he was not unable to be here tonight.
We have no executive session scheduled. Jake, would you like to bring up anything?
Care to?
Tammy,
No,
anything, Bob?
Burn days. We
Burn
talked about it
days.
briefly,
Yeah,
starting October maybe.
That's the plan, was by the end of September to get them going
Right.
through, November.
I spoke with the HUD lady the other day. And her specialty was home renovations. For a $10,000 grant
right.
for sidewalks, windows, whatever. I turned the papers over to Ricky Neal at Senior Housing or Senior Center for her to get the information to pass along. The HUD person is in Riverton, they can come over, present a public meeting for us to hear. Or they could go to senior citizens and or any private owned or someone who even someone who owns rents for renovations still. They need to do sidewalks done or gutters, painting. They require 16 pages of paperwork and last 7 years of financial statements, but it's something that we can maybe encourage our citizens to look at and say, hey, this is a thought. You want it through the town, this is one possible way. The issue that most people won't like is telling them all the financial information. Then on September 18th at 5:30 at the CWC auditorium is a public service commission hearing on rate increases for your electricity. I attended one in Casper. They're looking at 29% increase, which would cost our town approximately $25,000 a year next year if it goes through. That's not in our budget. But what will happen, there'll be a ripple effect. If Rocky Mountain Power gets it, then the Plains Electric will ask for it, and any other electric company will ask for the same one. Right now, that rate increase is being split into two parts. The first part is 7-something%. And it's based upon Rocky Mountain having to buy gas last winter on the open market. Because it was a severe winter, they shut down coal power plants and switched to natural gas. And therefore they had to buy natural gas on the market to make the electricity. The other one in the 22 something is a rate that will affect everybody. So what it would do to a town would be, how do you pick up that $20,000 increase? And this was for a 3-year project, 3-year term. It will affect us getting grants. Because this money, we can't use that our money for matching grants. will affect us for hiring people because our salaries may stay stagnant. There's multiple factors just affecting the town. Looking at the citizens, Biden a couple of years ago started a energy assistance for people. That has been cut down to 1/4 of what it was. So people who are on fixed incomes or whatever, that is going to go much worse for them.
I was like, Melissa got it with Lee app and started getting with the citizens to help with their utilities, water bills included. And she said that they were gonna suspend it in September. They extended it until, I believe, December, and then it goes away. A lot of it goes away. That's kind of what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
That's okay, I didn't know the proper term. And so I encourage all of us or the town, Joel, whoever's gonna be around. To make up a presentation. When I was there in Casper. The mayor of Mills spoke, Casper spoke, state senators, state representatives were all there. And they had the elected officials speak first on how to affect their communities. Then private individuals, there's probably 200 people there.
So it's at 5 o'clock on the
5:30 on the 18th.
CWC.
Yes, of the auditorium. The last question I have is for you, Marshall.
Yeah.
My wife is on the cemetery board. And she was told, because she's treasurer. She was told, anybody who signs checks must be bonded. Is that true for us as well?
Yes,
Well, I'm not bonded.
and we need to get you on it.
Neither am I.
Okay,
Are you
Yeah,
sure
that-
you're not bonded?
That just, yeah, that was brought up during that whole financial
training, that's
training
she
deal.
took,
It
yeah.
did come up. And it was discussed quite extensively.
Are you sure you're not bonded?
I'm sure I'm not bonded.
No, because when we did our audit, no one was bonded, but they had to sign all the financial statements. And the only ones that the auditor required to be bonded would be the ones that actually handled the checks, that actually handled the money at the time, unless something's changed.
I'm bonded or I was.
Yeah, the way they made it sound was anybody that's signing checks has to be bonded.
I'll call the Department of Highways tomorrow and I'll verify. And if that's the case, we'll get you all bonded.
Okay, I just,
Now, they did mention one of the ways to do it is also to do it by position. So that's one way to do it.
So I know the clerk treasurer's bonded, I'm bonded, Melissa's bonded, and Kathy Soul is bonded. Because at some point, we all can take cash or carry checks or the fiduciary.
Yeah.
And because the clerk controls these, she's bonded. Well, you sign it, but she's also a signatory on it. She's the one who's bonded, actually expensive. That was with the auditor said, but all there, but things could have
okay,
changed.
well, I'm
And
just,
I want to be in compliance, is what I'm saying.
that's why I'm asking, because I'm ignorant.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking, there's 2 signatories on the check.
Mhm.
I might make it different,
Mhm.
so.
But
I'd have to research that part, because I just remember when they went through the statutes, whoever's signing checks has to be on it.
that might be why during the audit, since the one was bonded.
Right, yeah. With 2 signatories and 1 bonded.
But I will also check. That was not. Better get ahead of it than be behind it.
That's all I have.
Mike? We talked quite a bit about the shooting complex, yeah. The only other thing we're moving forward with our meetings. The 27th is the meeting in Riverton. I encourage the LSO hasn't put out a agenda yet. I know around noon, Fremont County Association of Government, we're also putting together probably a 5 to 7 minute video that touts all the assets we have in Fremont County for people to come and do besides the shooting complex, the fishing, the casino, Wind River Canyon, Boyson Lake, Wind Rivers,
military vehicle museum, the Wind Rivers Mountain, just everything. Pushing what we're gonna do on that, and we're seriously going after this. The more people we can show up, part of the selection will be how the community support this. Will be on the agenda too, so we need to have a lot of people. We will put together a pretty good presentation. We also anticipate having that CWC, they have a sort of a virtual shooting range, if you will, training center in the basement of that we plan to put on a demonstration there with some professional trainers and shooters. Is also part of the, where we want to let the task force know that Fremont County is chasing this hard. We think there's going to be between a short list, maybe developed by the end of this year, between 3 and 7. If they 3, we don't want to be 4th. So, but then we're going to be making our case. We'll be talking wind density, putting out our best foot forward why it should be in Fremont County. Town hall update, you sort of got that. The sidewalk is the big thing. We got a checklist of a whole bunch of little things they got to come in and fix and do right. We're working on that. Weed update, we had a pretty good discussion about weeds, but I'd like to really thank the citizens. They're doing a lot. Like I said, I seen a guy I know is 77 years old out there pushing his lawnmower, cutting weeds. I think the citizens have stepped up a lot in Shoshoni. Yeah, I think they're doing well. 3rd Street signage, we're waiting on signs to get here. Fast lane has also wanted to add some verbiage, is gonna put more signs on our posts that we're putting up there. We're going to try to, this is sort of phase 1 and see how this works.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't work, we'll look at they'll look at other options. But we'll see if this can do it, because when we brought this into the travel plaza, not a truck stop, and we don't need trucks.
Coming away.
All night, be able to stop and run into fast lane, use the restroom and buy a soda or a coffee or something. That's one thing, but not parking all night. The Shoshoni Senior Center Street Fair, that's going on. I don't have Melissa. Where's we got paperwork for that here.
I thought it was 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was thinking
22nd, yeah.
23rd or something.
Yeah.
It is 22nd, 23rd. I know the events, part of it'll be, there's gonna be a bake sale. You have a pulled up thing?
No, I don't have enough service.
I
for
don't
anything,
see
and
Yeah. I've heard about it. I've talked to people at the center.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there will be a bake sale. They're gonna, what else is gonna be all going on in the park? Part of it's gonna be going on at the senior center, part of it's gonna be going on in the park.
I didn't see. the
Got
flyer.
food and hamburger and hot dogs, the senior citizens, music.
There you go.
Face painting. Shoshoni Marketplace and the other vendor booths will be selling senior citizen crafts. It's the 23rd from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Well,
The town plaza.
23rd. What day is that? Sunday? I don't have.
Saturday.
Saturday, okay. Also in the senior center, there's gonna be a bake sale going on. Cribbage tournament. What else is listed there, Mike, on that?
Cribbage tournament, $10 fee. They have coffees, cold coffees, cookies, and
Yeah.
muffins.
There'll be a cribbage tournament, $10 fee, I believe. Meals also provided, lunch for $10. I believe there's gonna be barbecued food or pulled pork, I believe.
Hamburger, hot dog, chips, sides, drink, $10.
Okay.
Proceeds go to the senior center.
And proceeds go to the senior center. So it should be a good time for all.
Encourage everybody to go down there to help the senior center. Be a
Yeah,
Good
free
thing.
tarot readings coming too.
got what?
Free tarot
And
readings
face painting.
Yeah,
and that's right.
yeah. I guess that's all I have to talk about. Anybody else have anything for the betterment of the town of Shoshone they'd like to talk about?
Let's go home.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
So moved by Councilman Hartsey, second by Councilman Zant. Any further discussion? None being all in favor, say aye. Aye, oppose the same. Meeting adjourned at 9:39. Oh, yeah. And Joel.